Today, Friday, January 23rd, marks Jennifer Horbelt's last day at WPSD Local 6. Here she is in conversation with her longtime co-anchor, Todd Faulkner, reflecting on the years here and her next steps.
So, Jennifer, how are you?
How are you? I'm great. How are you?
Okay, so I guess let's start talking about you leaving.
I know. If I talk about it, it's real, though.
Yeah.
It's honestly why I've had a little trouble, I think, facing it up until now, is because it's just like once I start talking about it, it's really happening.
Where are you going? Because that's the question I get from everybody. Where are you going?
Okay, so local company, United Systems and Software. Okay. They're actually located out in Marshall County, right across from South Marshall Middle School. Got a big, pretty building out there. I'm going to be doing external and internal communications for them. I think my official title now is communications manager, although that may adjust a little bit. But no, they're a company that's been around for a while, since the 70s. So they've got a really strong track record. They work with public utilities, and they actually just expanded coast to coast. So they're growing, which is, I think it's really exciting to be part of a local company that is really growing and doing big and great things, and thinks that I might be able to help them with some of that. So. Well,
and like a real work husband, you've told me this before, and I still cannot. People ask me, I'm like, I don't know, she's doing something in Benton.
Yeah.
Some company in Marshall County.
Again, it's been a little hard to imagine. I think probably even for you, I know it has been for me, it's hard to imagine doing something other than television news. This is just about all I've ever wanted to do. It was between TV news and early elementary education when I was looking at colleges and TV news went out. I didn't imagine I would step away from it, but I also didn't imagine that it was totally impossible that there might come a day that I stepped away from it.
And you and I have talked before. I honestly don't know what I would do if I wasn't doing this.
Yeah.
So for you to leave, it's like, I'm proud that you're leaving, but that's you're being very bold.
I am.
To leave. I think you can do it.
I think so. I better be able to do it.
No, you can do it. It's because people identify me as news guy, you as newswoman.
Yes.
You know, it's like
news guy, newswoman.
You know,
but no, I think that this is something I've been doing for 20 years. Not that there aren't new challenges every day, especially today with the way things are changing so much in terms of how we deliver the news. So there are absolutely new challenges, but in many ways I could do this job with my eyes closed. And I think that's a little part of it too, is I'm kind of itching for a bit of a new challenge, and to try something different, to take my skills that I've learned here and put them to use in a different way. Because there will be content creation and things like that I'll get to take part in. And I mean, communicating, that's what I do every day, whether it's in person or via the camera. So that part won't be lost, which is good.
Well, the other reality is you'll also be able to spend more time with Bobby and Logan.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think, and I think some viewers get it, but for the most part, I don't think viewers understand, like journalists, we're on all the time, and especially our shifts. We work through the evening.
Yes.
So
on weekends, mornings when I'm getting up, I'm sending story ideas in 100%.
So it takes a toll on, I think it takes a toll on relationships and family, because you're not there.
Yes.
You're not plugged into your own family.
Yes.
We jokingly all say we become a family.
Yes.
Because we spend more time with each other than anybody else.
Like the island of misfit toys. But no, really, we do. We're very drawn together by what is a very unique experience. Television news is a unique experience, and I think anybody that works in any industry understands that your little industry, the people that you work with, you get each other because you live it. And TV news is even wackier in terms of the hours, the things that we're covering, good and bad, runs the gamut. I'm really lucky in that. I have an amazing husband. I couldn't say enough good things. I couldn't say enough good things about Bobby, but he's worked in TV, and he works in emergency services, and he understands. I can't believe I'm doing this. I thought it was going to be tomorrow, but I guess we're going to do it today too. Darn it! He worked in television. That's partially how we met. He works in emergency services. He's a firefighter, and so he understands the being on all the time and the having to be ready to go at a moment's notice, and that your job in many cases takes
precedent.
precedent. It really does. And that has been something that has not been a problem for me for most of my career, because I really like to work. I enjoy working, and I enjoy my job, and I enjoy the people that I work with, and I always have, even the ones that get on my nerves. But I mean, really, and we even get on each other's nerves sometimes because we're like a family. But and he has been so understanding of that, and has stood by me when we decided to make the change, leaving Colorado, which is where he's from, and coming here for this job. And I know he'd stand beside me if I wanted to stay in this for the rest of my life. I have no doubt of that. But I really have the itch to be home at night.
Yeah.
Especially with a 9-year-old now.
Yeah, that you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A normal schedule, I almost can't even fathom it. Like, I'm going to have a normal schedule.
Right.
And
That's
this
wild.
weekend, when the weather rolls in, I don't have to figure out how to get to work in 12 inches of snow.
Right.
I don't have to do that.
Yeah,
it's
I
weird.
mean, and people may or may not understand. I mean, when something happens, we have to drop everything we're doing.
Yes.
If we get a call, you leave the house.
And that
you
is
go
the
to work.
job.
That's
that
the job.
is the job.
But to your point about Logan, when I told my parents you were leaving, and how it had been building, and
Yes.
more time with family, and my mom, she's like, I get it.
Yeah.
She's like, she wants to be with Logan at night,
Yeah.
and Bobby.
Yeah.
Well,
we just went, on this Jane's Journeys Hawaii trip, and at the end of it, I got to know so many of our viewers. We've both been on these trips. You
Yeah,
get
they're
to know your
great.
viewers. They really do become friends. And this trip in particular, I got to talk to a few of the women on the trip who are a little older, a little more seasoned. They've lived a bit of life. In one case, Tammy Summers, she and I had a great conversation. Her daughter is 41 as well, and just made a big life change. And Tammy did the same thing around 40, made a big change as far as career, and much of it was driven by family. Jane and I kind of talked about how she never thought this was like a hobby she started up and it's become a business, and that happened at 50. That's a heck of a career change at that point in your life, but it's totally possible. And it can be very, very exciting, and it can lead you to places that you never imagined. And so as scared, maybe as I am, and as apprehensive as I am to make the change, I'm also excited because I know other people have done it, whether they're in TV news. We've had plenty come
been
through.
In TV yep, and they get out.
And they get out, and they talk
escape.
about they
No,
miss it. Yeah, I know, exactly. Seriously. But they talk about how they miss it, but they also talk about how you'll love life on the other side of it. And so I know it's possible, and I know it will be a positive thing. It will also be bittersweet.
Yeah, and I don't know if I've told you this in depth. I think I mentioned it, but last fall there was like, you took a week off, and then I took a week off. But when you took a week off, you came back.
Your turn.
You came back, and when I came in on that Monday, I could just tell. I could tell in your attitude was just like so calm. It was so relaxed, and I was like,
what's that?
She's gonna leave.
Because that is different than how I typically.
I could sense it. I always say I'm bad at a lot of things. I'm really good at reading people.
You are.
And afterwards we went up and got coffee, and you said, I got to tell you something. And I knew it. I knew you were going to say you're leaving.
That's probably going to be one of the number one things I miss are our coffee dates.
Yeah.
Todd and I, that's like our regular thing, where we can just go decompress for a minute, gossip a little bit, and
talk about
talk shop.
Stories or
or
personal life.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good things, bad things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you did. You knew I had been thinking about it for a little while.
That's the thing. I think some people are like, "Oh, she's leaving," but you and I have had conversations over the last couple of years.
Yes.
I knew it had been building.
And I play my cards a little close to my my vest, so to speak. In terms of outside of this place, some of that has been just being in this business, and maybe there's a little part of me that's kind of looking forward to that too. I think when you're in this job and you sit on this desk, it's impossible not to, we have a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but it's impossible not to take it seriously, want to put your best self forward, and want to represent the entire community. I think that sometimes can lead people to think they know who you are and what you're about. You know, and we do have to put on a professional version of ourselves. It's not acting, but it is a professional presentation of yourself.
Yeah, I call it, I always say to some of our newer reporters and anchors, it's not acting, it's not pretending, but there's a performative aspect to being on television news.
Yes, and you do have to separate yourself a little bit personally from it. You can't totally, because then you're not a human giving the news.
Right.
But you also, I think, have to be careful, because again, you want to represent as many people in your community as possible.
Right.
You don't want them to feel like they're getting a certain slant from you or whatever.
I was just having this conversation not 2 days ago that people, I was complaining about something, I won't say what, but anyway, people
later at coffee.
People have this impression of us, you know, because they just see us in that box, and they think, well, that's how they are.
Yeah.
Whereas I think people would be surprised to learn more about you, learn more about me and my silly stupidness.
Yes.
You know, I really do. They just put us in this box, and it's like, if you get to know me.
And it's understandable, because we do it too. I mean, I grew up watching local news, and I had an idea of what, you know, what people are. You just do when you see people, even if it's not news, even if you're just seeing people judging a book by its cover, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking forward to relaxing just a little bit into myself and into my family. I know that being recognized doesn't necessarily go away in a small community like this, where you've worked for 20 plus years, and I hope people will still come and say hello, because I want them to know, like, this is my home. I'm not leaving the area.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
I love this area. I love the people in this area. There's a reason I wanted to come back in 2014, and I didn't want to go to some other market. I wanted to be here, and I wanted to build my life here, whether that meant I was staying in TV news or not. At the time, I thought it would be, for most, if not all of my career. But yeah, I do look forward to relaxing a little bit, both as far as being on all the time for work, having to send in story ideas and thinking about it, but also as far as like being a little bit more of myself.
And we kind of joked about this, that guaranteed, we're doing a goodbye thing on Friday, we're doing this podcast, whatever this is. And guaranteed 3 months from now, we'll get a call into the newsroom. What happened to Jennifer? Why is Jennifer not there?
Well, but
which is funny, but really heartwarming that people are calling in.
I mean, many of you may remember Paula Bridges. She was the evening anchor back in
years ago.
Yeah, when I started, when we started here in 2007, she was the evening anchor with Scott Couch, and both of them, by the way, were like amazing in terms of like taking me, and I know it wasn't just me, but taking me under their wing and being mentors. That's been something I've really taken from them and other anchors that I've worked with and who have worked closely with me, helping the younger that are up and coming kind of get a grasp of this business, which can be absolutely insane and can kick your butt, but also can be incredibly gratifying and rewarding, and you can really make a difference for people if you're doing it right. But I remember when she left in 2009, and for years, even after I left, went to Colorado and came back, people would ask about her. Yeah. And she wasn't here for 20 years. Nope. She made a huge impact in just a short period of time. I think your local news, people really do remember you, and they see you. And
you're part of their lives.
You're part of their lives. You're part of their lives. Yep. I know my local news people growing up in Houston, they were part of my life. I mean, Dominique Saxa. I remember watching her in Houston on KPRC and just thinking she was something else, and how much I enjoyed watching her every day and what she was going to tell me. I believed her. I know you've talked about the news people you watched back in Ohio.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I would, and when I had my first internship in Dayton, I was like, oh my gosh, that's Mark Allen. Oh my gosh, that's Mark Allen. Like he's real.
Yeah.
No, but the story that you talk about, people invite us into their homes, and we're part of their lives. I know I've told this story to you 100 times. Morgan Regal, our senior executive producer, when he moved here and he started working here, he mentioned, well, my wife's from here, and he's younger than us. Yeah. And so he kept saying Hannah. And then one day I walked down the parking lot and I saw him talking to who I assumed was Hannah. So I walk up and I go, oh, you must be Hannah. I'm Todd Faulkner. And she said, oh, I know you. I grew up watching you. And I felt so old. But I just thought, wow. wow, we've been at this a while.
And it's what an honor that people
Right?
grew up watching us.
Yeah.
I take that very seriously. I also can joke about it. I think that's kind of what makes this job fun, is we both kind of have a good sense of humor about it. I like to think we don't take ourselves too seriously. I take the job seriously.
Yeah, I take the job. And there's, you know me, there's some things I'm very anal retentive about.
Yes.
I really have a hard time. But
Me too, though. Well, we want
has to
things
be a certain way.
we want things to be right. We care about putting our best foot forward. We understand that the little mistakes lead to big mistakes. We understand that trust is very easy to lose and very hard to earn. And you know, for those who have trusted me through the years, who've trusted us as a team, I really I can't tell you how much that has meant to me. It continues to mean a lot to me. And again, I've taken that seriously. I kind of jokingly was, I'm sure there's some people that won't miss me. That's okay. I won't miss you either. But that's perfectly fine. But I do think that my dad, actually, he taught me something very important. And many of you know, he passed away. That's probably another part of the reason why I'm making the decision I'm making is I lost my dad in 2009. I had just gotten the evening anchor job. And I remember one of the big things he talked about before he passed away was he wished that he had made some different choices as far as what he really wanted to do and not feeling stuck. Not that I feel that here.
Sure.
But I want to make the right decision and be around as long as I can for my family. And this is a job that puts a lot of stress and a lot of wear and tear on you, on your heart, on your soul, and your body.
Absolutely.
And it has been a fun ride, and I've enjoyed pushing myself. But I want to learn from him. My brother passing away, Bobby's mom at a very young age. I want to make sure that my priorities are in the right place.
And you mentioned something which is probably where we could end things, and that is our relationship. I'm selfishly like, oh man, she's leaving, because we, people say, oh, you guys are really good together, but that's because we genuinely like each other. Yeah. We're friends, and you cannot create that.
No.
It's either there or it's not there.
Yeah.
And I've anchored with some people where it's like, oh, it's not there.
Yeah.
It's not there.
Same.
But we literally can look at each other. Like if there's a mistake,
Yes.
it's like, oh, you read. Okay, I'll
Yes.
read, or you go, or and
Almost an unspoken language.
that is really tough to recreate.
It is tough
really
to
is hard.
recreate, and it's either there or it's not. That organic chemistry, and it is so important, I think, for the anchors that are sitting at the desk to be able to do the best job. But the viewers at home, whether they know it or not, I think you feel it when people really do genuinely like each other, and when they really don't.
And
you can tell.
And if we're doing our jobs right and we're clicking and the tempo's there, then it looks easy.
Yes.
To the viewer, it looks
Yes.
easy, and it's actually really, really hard.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't say that to get pats on the back. I'm just saying, when it's there, it's there. When it's not, it's not.
Yeah. Well, I am bittersweetly excited. It is a new chapter, and it is one that's probably been building for a little while. Probably the number one things that made me take pause in terms of not leaving you, people I work with, and then Jeff Bidwell, who I just think is the 1,000% right choice to lead this newsroom.
Oh, he's exactly what we need right now.
He's exactly what we need right now, and I'm not going to lie, it was really hard for me to be like, I really want to work for Jeff. I really want to work for Jeff. I've worked with Jeff, but working for Jeff is different. He's a friend, but also a very respected colleague. But as I told our viewers on that Jane's Journeys trip, I am looking forward to being a viewer. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do and where you go and where he takes you and where he pushes you to the next level, because I think that is what he's going to do. I think
we're
he's
already
going to make
changing
all of you
things.
better.
We're
already
already
changing
changing
things.
things.
He's just going to do nothing but make what I consider to be a very talented newsroom even better. And we do. We have people, and I've always said this, I'd put us up against I'd put us up against big markets in a heartbeat.
Oh,
I think we do great work. Are we perfect? No. But I feel like we do great work. We do people-centered stories, which is probably the #1 reason I wanted to work at this television station, is because we tell stories from people's perspectives as opposed to just worrying about official sound.
Yeah. We do it different.
That's not going to change. If anything, that's only going to increase.
Jen and Todd were about done here, but I had one last question I wanted to ask. What has kept Todd here all these years, and what brought Jennifer back after her time in Colorado?
I'll go first. What's kept me here is I kept getting promoted. No, I'm joking. Well, that's partly not joking.
That helps.
But
it does help.
because I'm an Ohio Northern transplant, but I genuinely fell in love with the people here.
Yeah.
And the attitude and the hospitality and
the history
and just
the geography, even all of it.
I thought I really love this place.
Yeah,
that's what kept me here.
Same. No, same. And I know when I returned, because Colorado, I thought that I wanted to stay there. My goal in going there was to go and to stay for a long period of time. And while I loved the experience, I realized pretty quickly that wasn't maybe the pace I wanted for family life in particular, because it's really intense. And you think the weather's crazy here. Wildfires got a little old, I'm not going to lie. But the people drew me back. And I didn't even know it would be an option to be able to come back, but I knew I missed it. And I knew I still called people here, including my former boss, Bill Evans, for advice and for mentorship about, next steps to take. And the fact that it was even an option to come back, it was like it wasn't even a thought. It was, I want to come back. Another big part of it was, after my dad died, this community really rallied around me. I got so many cards. I got so many comments of just, we're so sorry that you're going through this, especially at a time when I was pretty young. I wasn't even 25 yet. I had just gotten a pretty large role for that age, with a lot of responsibility, and so it was a very intense time. But I just really felt like the community really wrapped its arms around me, and I've continued to feel that way, which has made it really easy to stay and makes it really hard to go. But I think that people understand family's important, and sometimes you just got to trust your gut, and you got to take a leap and try something new.